All right. What is going on, everyone? It's your boy, No Mercy Sports, and I'm back today with another episode of the most uncut, unfiltered, and unfucking sports talk show you are going to find on YouTube. Yeah! There's so much going on in the world of sports right now, but before getting started, let me talk to you about the weather changing. I see you, sports judge. Don't worry, I'm going to get you on in a bit. But let me talk to you about the weather changing. It is finally starting to cool off here, especially here in Texas, to where we can start wearing hoodies. That's why the hoodie that I'm currently wearing by Reaper Apparel has become one of my favorite hoodies to wear, especially in the morning time. Dan, the founder of Reaper Apparel, created the brand due to the year of 2020 being a reminder that every minute counts. All right? Every minute counts, including the hard ones. Every day, so many moments in our life are wasted worrying about the future and what it holds. Reaper Apparel is about being the best version of yourself and trying new things. Be sure to check out their website. The link will be in the description of this video, and check out the merchandise they have to offer, and be sure to use the code No Mercy Sports 10. No Mercy Sports, all caps, and you can get 10% off of your order, and let them know I sent you. And now it's time for the most uncut, unfiltered, and unfucking sports talk show you will find on YouTube. Woo! Let's get into today's episode because it is time for the first ever live episode of No Mercy Sports. Yeah! And with me today, I have a special guest, the sports judge himself. Welcome to today's episode, my man. How you doing?
What's up, my man? What's up, No Mercy? How are we feeling today? I see you're fired up for this show. You're screaming
man,
like
you already know I'm always fired up for today.
Hey, I know.
A weekly episode, man. You already know.
You sound like one of those macho wrestlers. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's get this show started.
Hey,
yeah, I love the energy. I love the passion, man.
Hey, I gotta give a shout out to Bruce Buffer. You know how he does when it comes to doing his thing in the UFC. He brings the energy, he brings the passion, and oh my god, he just gets you excited for every matchup of the fight card.
Absolutely, man. No one does it better than him. That guy is legendary. No one will ever take his place. He's just amazing. And he has that distinctive voice that no one else can come close to resembling. So, hey, you know what? A lot of respect for that guy and what he does.
Absolutely. I mean, he's essentially the Triple H of the UFC. Nobody breathes the UFC more than he does. Like, he takes his job seriously. He loves his job. He does what he does, and obviously the results show every time that he announces a fight matchup.
Hell yeah, it does.
But let's get into the first topic of today. So I don't know what it is. So I listen to ESPN radio a lot every single morning. And whether it's the first week, second, third, fourth, we're going into week 6. Am I right?
Yes, we're going into week 6 of the NFL.
So we're going into week 6 of the NFL season. And what was it? The Bills and Jets started off the season, and everybody was just, there's no words to describe how New York felt when Aaron Rodgers was ready to make his season debut with the Jets. And the worst of the worst actually happened. He tore his Achilles. I mean, you saw the replay yourself. You saw the few pops in his heel. Just, it is what it is. But, I mean, when Josh Allen had 4 turnovers in that game and the Bills lost in a walk-off punt return, everybody on ESPN radio and their mother really thought that the Bills season was done and over. Like they were overreacting to how the Bills season was going to pan out. So my question is, do certain sports show personnel overreact too much after 1 or 2 weeks of football, or?
Of course. I have a tendency to overreact at times. I think it's the nature of that person. It's human instinct, right? Oh my God, look what happened to this team. Oh no, they lost. Their season is done and over with. Not so fast. But I think that's the human inside of us. We tend to overreact. We tend to rule a team out if they underperform in week 1 or week 2. We hit the panic button, and then the team, gets scorned. It could maybe be a little rust. It could just be that those particular players didn't really get much playing time during preseason. So they're not really in game shape, and they're not really game ready, and it causes this level of concern for a lot of people. But I do think, to answer your question, that a lot of members in the national media, they do get a bit carried away. They do hit the panic button too soon. And you know what? You can also say a lot of it is because of shock value. They're trying to get ratings for the show. And by overreacting and, letting your emotions get the best of you, that helps with ratings, right?
Mm-hmm.
That draws an audience, and that's what they want to do. They want to be appealing. They want to attract the masses by saying the most ridiculous things, or overreacting because a team looks god awful, in week 1 or week 2.
No, I mean, I honestly completely agree. Like, was it a travesty that Josh Allen had 4 turnovers in the game against the Jets the first week of the season? Yeah. But also, I truly believe that starting quarterbacks and even like everybody in a starting position really should have more snaps in the preseason versus doing essentially what Rodgers did, having 4 plays and fucking getting out.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we're 6 weeks in, and there's already teams that you can really tell that their season is over. They're starting to make the comeback. They're right where they need to be, or they exceeded the expectations of the offseason leading up to this season. And like, let's take Dallas, for example. Like, so they outscored both the New York Giants and the New York Jets 70-10. Everybody was on that fucking overhype train. I don't know. Like, there's no words to describe it. Granted, they have an elite defense led by Micah Parsons, who, in my opinion, I actually agreed with Mike Greenberg on this. He could be the first defensive player to win MVP since Lawrence Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
and he often draws those comparisons, right? You often hear
absolutely.
Lawrence
He's
Taylor.
like Khalil Mack and Lawrence Taylor had a baby child. I mean,
you hear it all the time.
But that aside, like, Dak Prescott is not that guy. And it took up until a 42-10 loss to the 49ers for the sports talk personnel to be like, oh, well, maybe Dallas isn't who we thought they were. They're human. They're like Ivan Drago. They can bleed. They can do this. They can do like, no. Don't get off the train because you were on that train 2-3 weeks into the season. All right? Don't retract your statement because you decided to be a moron. I mean, like, even when the Jets signed Aaron Rodgers, Mike Greenberg turned into arguably the most delusional fan that I've ever seen in my entire, like more delusional than a Cowboys fan. Granted, Rodgers is good. The Jets probably would have won a Super Bowl with him. But again, the worst of the worst obviously happened. And wishing Rodgers a speedy recovery. But at the same time, like for the last 2-3 weeks, it was either Dallas Cowboys or New York Jets. And there's so much going on.
I mean, the Dallas Cowboys are America's team.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone likes to say
that fucking star.
They are one of the most valued teams in the country. They are clearly a name brand franchise that a lot of people have come to know and love. But this is not the Cowboys of the 90s.
It is not.
And every freaking year, you're hearing fans saying, this is our year. This is our year. This is our year. It's like Dodger fans, right? This is our year. Every year is our year. And you're not going to
like the next topic after this.
Right. You are led to believe that your team is going to finally win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
It never comes to fruition because although you have an elite defense, the problem with the team is the offense, the quarterback situation.
Yeah. And they hop on the train like, oh, we should get rid of Mike McCarthy. We should get rid of Dak Prescott. Who the hell are you going to get mid-season?
Exactly. So a lot of the blame does fall on Dak Prescott because you look at last week's game and what happened. He threw 3 freaking interceptions in the game.
Yep.
You expect to win with a quarterback throwing 3 interceptions in a game? That you're not winning the Super Bowl with Dak Prescott as your quarterback. I'm sorry. He has proven to me this season, particularly watching him early in the season, that he is not the quarterback.
Yep.
Moving forward, he is not going to help this team get over the hump. The defense is going to take this team as far as they can. The defense, the Cowboys are going to ride on this defense to get to the playoffs. No question about it. But
ain't no question.
In the first round, they're most likely going to get eliminated because Dak Prescott is going to make a costly decision that's going to come back to bite the team in the ass. It's just as simple as that. We've seen it time and time again with Dak Prescott. I can't trust him as my starting quarterback. I just can't.
See, but here's the thing, though. He is the quarterback version of Jason Garrett. He is a yes man because Jerry Jones himself went on the Dallas radio sports show to say, oh, Dak Prescott can lead us to... No. He couldn't lead a horse to water and make it drink if he tried.
Harsh words, but it's the truth.
Yes!
Reality.
Read it. Read it on the cap.
No mercy sports.
Exactly. Like
Merciless.
The Cowboys, they have always had a great defense. And even looking back at the 2000 NFC divisional round between the Giants and the Cowboys, that was defensive heavy. Because in the last seconds of the game, it came down to one thing: defense. And that's exactly what the Giants had. Why? Because for so long, Jerry Jones has been betting on all the wrong horses, Dak Prescott being one of them, that up until it's Trey Lance's time to shine, a new ice age will have occurred before Jerry Jones realizes, oh, well, maybe Dak Prescott wasn't. Yeah, no shit, he wasn't that guy. What makes you think Trey Lance is going to make a difference?
Yep.
I mean, it's unreal.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as unreal. You're going to hate me for this.
Cowboy fans are delusional, too.
You're going to hate me for this. It's almost as unreal as the LA Dodgers getting swept
I don't hate
in the divisional series to the Diamondbacks who haven't seen anything since 2007.
I don't hate
and they
you for
haven't won a World Series since 2001.
They haven't sniffed the playoffs in so long, and they won 89 games this season, and the Dodgers won 100 games and lose, basically performing another choke job. I mean, it's become a common theme here in Los Angeles.
It really
win
has.
100 games, and lose in the playoffs. I mean, that's the common thing, right? Win 100 games.
Win 95. They either win 95 to 100 plus games and just choke in the playoffs. Like they have won the NL West so many times. But like a buddy of mine told me, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish.
And just watching this series, it was disheartening. It was nauseating to watch this team.
Preach it.
We're talking about a team that won 100 games in 2023. 111 games in 2022, 106 in 2021, and 106 in 2019. And get this, in 3 of the last 4 full seasons of play, the Dodgers have had 100 plus wins and have been knocked out in the NLDS. That is unacceptable. That's a great way to embarrass yourself. That's a great way to publicly humiliate yourself. And quite frankly, someone deserves to lose their job. And I'm blaming Dave Roberts and that coaching staff.
There you go.
Was a fireable offense, my friend.
I mean, honestly, the Dodgers, since 2013, dating back to 10 years, they have the talent. Like, the players they bring in speak for itself. Even ever since they brought in Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman.
Oh, my God.
They have had the 2 best players in the league for so long, and they still can't get the job done.
2 of the best hitters in the game, and those 2 guys couldn't get any hits.
What was it? They went like 0 for 41 with a .033 ERA.
Staggering, absolutely staggering. I'm sitting there watching the game, losing my mind, barely could watch the game because they were either popping up, grounding out, and Freddie can't say he didn't have an opportunity because he did. I believe there was a game where the bases was loaded.
Yeah, I believe so.
With him at the plate. And he had a chance to cash in and he didn't. But you can see that Freddie was looking for a pitch to jump on. And he didn't get the pitch that he would have liked to get. And, he swings and misses. He strikes out. He grounded out. He popped out. It just wasn't a great series for him. Dodgers didn't swing the bats well at all in this series. And I feel like when your superstars are absent, someone else is going to have to pick up the slack on that offense, and nobody did.
No. So here's the thing: when was Don Mattingly the manager of the Dodgers? Like for how long? Because I know they had him for a while.
Yeah, they had him for a while, and that didn't work out either.
Yeah, but going back to 2013, they win the NL West, but they lost to the Cardinals in 6 games in the NLCS. 2014, they win the NL West again. No surprise. But they lost to the Cardinals again in 4 games in the NLDS. 2015. Say again?
You see the pattern?
It took me up until the Cubs to finally see the pattern. And then the pattern became clear when they lost to the Nationals in 2015. Or, I'm sorry, 2019. The Nationals had a less than 1% chance going into the All-Star break of even making the playoffs because Bryce Harper signed a 13-year deal with the Phillies. I mean, like, I'm looking on my phone right now, and I just can't even believe it.
And guess what? To make matters worse, Howie Kendrick destroyed them in that series, and he was a former Dodger. And who else destroyed them was Anthony Rendon, and he hasn't done diddly squat since he signed with the Angels.
I mean, the one thing that gets me was Cody Bellinger was with them for quite a while, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as he goes to the Chicago Cubs, he has a career-altering fucking season. You can't even make this up. It was like Jason Hayward going from the Cardinals to the Cubs, and all of a sudden the Cubs become good. Cody Bellinger goes from the Dodgers to the Cubs. I honestly thought the Cubs were going to make the playoffs, but instead they fucking choked it away to the Diamondbacks and Marlins.
They came close, though. They came close. And yes, you're right. I mean, Cody Bellinger had a career year. He was outstanding for the Cubs. So what does that tell you about the Dodgers and their coaching staff?
It really says a lot.
That's where I point my finger at the hitting coach and the coaching staff. Because how do you leave the Dodgers? You had an awful year with the Dodgers leading up to your final year with the team. And then you sign with the Cubs and you become this great slugger. It's like you went, it's like you reinvented yourself after you joined the Chicago Cubs.
I mean, honestly, when Cody Bellinger and Dansby Swanson signed with the Cubs, after the All-Star break, I don't know what the hell happened, what David Ross said to the team. They just caught fire. Unfortunately, they choked when it mattered most to making the playoffs. But, I mean, like I said, looking at the Dodgers playoffs, it really took a worldwide pandemic and a shortened season for them to finally get over that hump and get the championship.
It did. It did. They needed an abbreviated 60-game season to win a World Series.
Yep.
And that's why people will never let them live it down until they win in a full season.
Yeah. I mean, I've even worked with a buddy who's a Dodgers fan. He's like, oh, we won the World Series in 2020. We did this. Buddy, numbers never lie. You lost to the Braves in 2021 in 6 games in the NLCS. You lost to an 89-win San Diego Padres team that you should have dominated.
And guess what? You lose to another team that won 89 games, and that's the Diamondbacks this year.
They had a 16-win differential over the Diamondbacks, and they got swept.
Another division. Another division foe. To make matters worse. That's why I laugh. Because it's funny. It's funny and sad at the same time. So I can't help but to bust up laughing about it.
I mean, dude, like I've said on your Facebook post, the Dodgers are a baseball version of the Dallas Cowboys. They have a great regular season. They are phenomenal.
That's accurate. Yep. That's 100% accurate.
They have a phenomenal regular season, but when it comes to actually winning the games, they are certified choke artists.
Yes.
They're like Freddie Freeman went cold. Mookie Betts is the oh my God. I can't even put it into words just how perfect he fits the LA scene. There's no this man blends in so well with the LA Dodgers. Boston wasn't for him. And the fact that
Freddie Freeman was 1 for 10.
Mm-hmm.
1 for 10. Mookie Betts was 0 for 11. I'm lost for words. I mean, I can't believe that you're talking about 2 great hitters and they just completely disappeared in October. I I don't know what else to really say. Like I said the other night when I went off in my rant, I really had no words for it. I was absolutely speechless because this is basically what happened.
Exactly.
I mean, that's basically what we witnessed. We saw another horror show in Los Angeles.
I mean, honestly, there were some years where if LA had advanced, there was another young team waiting for them to be like, oh, guess what? We're still gonna, like 2015, for example, when they lost to the Mets. I fully believe that it had the Dodgers advanced to the NLCS, they still would have lost to the Cubs. And if by some chance
if they got to the World Series, they would have lost to the Royals.
Oh my!
Both 2015
series. That 2015 Royals team was stacked.
It was stacked, and they would have kicked their ass for real. And like, every time the Dodgers reached the World Series, they couldn't even figure out the American League team. Yeah. They go down to the Astros, despite the fact
there's an asterisk for that.
Yeah,
there's an asterisk for that.
Because they were banging on trash cans. We all know the story behind that. But then you look at the Boston Red Sox the following year when they got back, there was no chance they were winning that series. They were already underdogs in that series because the Red Sox had this historically good offense.
Well, I mean, there was another story that actually came out that the Red Sox were doing the same thing that the Astros were.
Right. And I heard that story as well.
Oh.
But, man, I mean, this was just sad. You talk about two playoff busts being Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. I mean, I just can't believe it. I mean, you can sit here and blame Dave Roberts, but when you have two of your best players going 0 for 13, 0 for 10 and all that, no team wins when your two best players aren't hitting.
Absolutely. I mean, you even brought in the Dodger veteran, Kike Hernandez, who has been with them through thick and thin. And he couldn't even get anything going.
Yep. And we need to stop making excuses for these ball players. They're making a ton of money. There's no excuses. This is unacceptable. I don't care. They can say whatever they want to say, that the bye had an effect on their hitting, whatever. Okay. You could come up with all this stuff. I do think it had an effect on them. I do think the playoff format contributed to their underperformance. I will say that. Yeah. But still, you are a top player on your team, and you have to show up in big moments, and they didn't do that. I mean, you want to hear the numbers combined? Ronald Acuna Jr., Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman were a combined 3 for 34 in the postseason.
Get the hell out of here. No, so what here's the thing that blows me away the most. We have seen so many iconic moments in October baseball, and it never fails to disappoint. We even saw a god-tier bat flip from Jose Bautista when it was the Blue Jays versus the Rangers.
In 2015.
Ain't nobody topping that. Nick Castellanos was the first player in playoffs history to have back-to-back multiple home runs. This dude did, when he hit his second home run, he did that bat did a 900. Everybody was like, there were just so many people that were like, oh my God, had that been Ronald Acuna Jr. or if it was this other player from an away team in a home team stadium, he would have been driven out of town. Like, no, don't even say that. Don't even go there. I love it. It adds to the game. Like, even the Bryce Harper stare down of Orlando Arcia, that just made the series that more personal between the Phillies and the Braves. It was just perfection.
Right. It creates a storyline, right? It gives us something to talk about. And that's what you want to see. you want to see those type of narratives in a
Yep.
playoff series. And these two teams clearly are division rivals. They don't like each other. So,
Absolutely.
there's gonna be some bad blood percolating. You're gonna have some bad blood percolating, especially when your emotions are running high in a playoff series or a game of that magnitude.
Yeah. Especially
what
what Orlando Arcia did when the Phillies were in Atlanta, and he was like, haha, attaboy, Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper turned into MJ and took that shit personally.
Yes, he did take it personal, and Arcia was just trying to get under Bryce Harper's skin, because we all know that Bryce Harper can be a little emotional at times, and players know they can try to provoke him and get under his skin if they can in any way, shape, or form. But that simply motivated Bryce Harper.
Yep.
I mean, you don't want to motivate a player like that, particularly what he's capable of doing. You saw what he did last season. Like, you saw the postseason magic. I mean, it was real. It was unreal and real at the same time. It left you breathless, in a sense.
I mean, Bryce Harper had his moment with the Padres. He had his moment with the Braves, and even Nick Castellanos was like, okay, I want in on this action.
Right. And last year was different for the Phillies, right? No one expected them to, get as far as they got. No one expected them to even get to the World Series, because remember, this was a team that got off to a terrible start. They fired their manager. Joe Girardi got fired. And then the guy that took over, Rob Thompson, he helped this team, get back on his feet. You saw the incredible turnaround. And this season, I mean, this team took a completely different turn. And once they got to the playoffs, they had that playoff magic, and they got hot at the right time, and they kept winning. So they kind of set the standard for themselves, right? Coming into this year. So this year, more was expected of the Phillies because the expectations were a bit higher, given what they were able to accomplish the year before that, just coming up short in the World Series. And now they look like they're back there again. They're in the NLCS. And I will say this. I think they got the Atlanta Braves number.
Honestly, like, I really feel like this Phillies team is on a revenge tour. I really feel like if they get back to the World Series and they face the Astros, they are out for blood.
Yep.
Like, they learned from their mistakes last year.
Yep.
But here's the thing about the baseball playoffs. It is so overhated that it's like, the two best teams in the National League were eliminated because the Diamondbacks caught fire at the last minute when winning actually mattered. And the Phillies, they held their ground in the for first place in the wild card standings. And both teams took out two teams that were expected to either go to the NLCS, World Series, or actually win the World Series. However, when it comes to the NBA, and Miami was the 8th seed, we were actually celebrating Miami getting to the NBA Finals. Or let's go to March Madness. We see the Cinderella team college just come out of nowhere, and you just can't help but root for them. And the only reason that people root for them is because either A, their bracket got busted when they were filling it out on paper, or B through Z, they're actually fans of the college, and it's like, hey, we deserve the championship. Like, there's just so much going on with baseball playoffs that, like, when the Diamondbacks eliminated the Dodgers, like, everybody just seemed to jump on the Dodgers bandwagon. It was like, oh, F the D-backs, fuck them, they got lucky, no, don't go there. You just hate how the baseball playoffs are set up because you're so used to what other sports are doing And baseball's been doing it since 1995 when the wild card was introduced.
Right.
And it's just, there's really no words to describe it.
To me, though, man, this Phillies team, I see a Rangers and Phillies World Series. I think we're going to get a Rangers and Phillies World Series. Again, this Phillies team has been absolutely magical. The Phillies hit 6 homers last night. Most in team history in a playoff game. Yeah. And tied the most ever in a game in baseball postseason history. Yeah. They are staring down back-to-back trips to the NLCS because this team continues to do magical things in the month of October. And I don't know if last October didn't happen. I don't know if anybody would think this 2023 Phillies team is anything close to being a good baseball team.
I mean, we had, for the NLCS, we are witnessing 2 teams that played with nothing to lose that are in the NLCS. The Phillies, it's familiar territory. For the Diamondbacks, they haven't been there since 2007. And honestly, I'm expecting nothing short of fireworks for this NLCS, especially for the Battle of Texas Championship Series. Because we got the Texas Rangers and the Houston. Oh, my God. I don't care what anyone says. Like, it could be, there could be another worldwide pandemic. But I got my eyes on what's going to happen in the ALCS and the NLCS, because it is going to be nothing short of fireworks.
Red October, baby. I'm riding that red wave.
Absolutely. All right. So, we've already talked about baseball. We've already talked about football. But we're going to go back to football. The Denver Broncos.
Oh, Lord.
They are, oh, my God. Sean Payton wants to criticize Nathaniel Hackett for a terrible season? No. Drew Brees, it's obvious. Drew Brees carried that Saints team when Sean Payton was the head coach.
Yep.
But everybody's like, oh, it's the Broncos. No. Okay, yes, the Broncos defense is terrible. We'll give them that. But don't you dare sit there and, have be the meme of your phone is smoking and say, oh, Russell Wilson and Sean Payton are. Yes, they are. Yes, the fuck they are. The Broncos gave Russell Wilson an unbelievable contract. They gave him multiple parking spaces. He has his own office in the Denver Broncos facility.
That's
he
ridiculous.
Was brought in, and he had everybody on Sports Talk Show, including myself, that they were going to compete with the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC West.
Yep. Because everyone kept saying they were a quarterback away from being a legitimate contender. What happened?
They laid a fucking egg. Enter Sean Payton. Oh, Sean Payton has signed with the Denver Broncos. Oh my God. Now the Denver Broncos are a contender in the AFC West again. He can turn Russell Wilson around.
Yeah, he can unlock his potential and unlock his success and help him get back to where he once was in his career. Okay. It hasn't really worked out for the Denver Broncos. In fact, it's been another miserable season. It's worse than last season, if you ask me.
It is.
Nathaniel Hackett looks innocent.
The Broncos at least had 2 wins going into this week.
Yep. And before you criticize someone else, you might want to take a quick look at yourself in the mirror. If you're Sean Payton had the audacity to criticize Nathaniel Hackett, and you have done a worse job than him coaching this team. And I don't think I don't know if he's gonna last long in Denver.
No.
Because
dude,
where is the leadership?
Like you reposted on Facebook, that picture of Russell Wilson hoisting up the Lombardi Trophy really is starting to look AI generated, because there is no way in hell, had it not been for the Legion of Boom, Russell Wilson was going to hoist up that Lombardi Trophy. Like, you look back at the last 10 years of the Super Bowl, I guarantee you will find 7 at least, or at most 8 out of 10 teams had a top 10 defense.
I guess everyone forgot about the interception that he threw late in the game in that Super Bowl against the New England Patriots.
And you had beast mode in the backfield,
which was very dumb.
Oh, even Marshawn Lynch called it. He's like, oh, shit, I'm lined up on the wrong side. I should be on the other side. Yep. No, you did what you needed to do. It was the dumb decision-making on both Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson to be like, oh, we're just going to throw it on the 1-yard line. Who the hell is this Malcolm Butler dude? But the question is, who is to blame for the Broncos' terrible season? Sean Payton or Russell Wilson?
Well, that's the thing, right? The Broncos, first of all, the Broncos aren't planned to win football games. They are planned to win the blame game, and everyone's pointing fingers at each other. No one's holding anybody accountable. There's a lack of leadership. There's a lot of division in that locker room right now, and the locker room will implode if it hasn't already, because no one, again, is taking accountability, and everyone wants to blame each other and not, take responsibility for what has gone wrong within the organization. That's what happens when Sean Payton comes in throwing shade at his Super Bowl winning quarterback, Russell Wilson. Every time, every chance he gets, really, when you think about it. And to me, Sean Payton is an interesting situation with the Denver Broncos team right now. My question is, how long does he last? Because I think you have to place a lot of the blame on Sean Payton. I know a lot of people's blaming Russell Wilson for this debacle, but Russell Wilson is going to get a lot of the blame because he is the quarterback. When something goes wrong, the quarterback gets 90% of the blame. But everyone is to
Dallas Cowboys.
Everyone is to blame for this. Right, exactly. But everyone is to blame for this atrocity. The defense hasn't played well. Vance Joseph,
he got to go.
He should have been fired because this team obviously quit on him. They obviously quit. This team does not want to play for him. This team has quit on Sean Payton. And once you lose the locker room, that's it. Once you lose the locker room, you're not going to win those players back. And I feel like Sean Payton's days should be numbered.
Absolutely.
His days should be numbered because it is simply not working out. It hasn't worked out, and it's not going to get better anytime soon because obviously those players do not have an ounce of respect for him.
No,
and I just don't see it. I don't see Russell Wilson being in Denver very long. I think this was a terrible mistake by Denver. It's showing more and more. And I think if you're Denver, you got to think about a fire sale and a full rebuild. I think that's what's coming to Denver next. But if I have to place the blame on somebody, since that's what we're doing now, it would have to be Sean Payton because he was the guy that was supposed to come in and shift the culture, and turn things around for an organization that looked terrible in the prior year. And if anything, it's gotten a lot worse. It hasn't gotten any better, and I don't expect it to get any better. The Denver Broncos are an absolute
travesty.
It's a real travesty, and it's not going to get any better anytime soon. And I think, quite honestly, they're the biggest disappointment in the NFL this season. The season is absolutely comedy. I mean, it's laughable in a sense.
Honestly, I couldn't have put it any better myself. Like, the only team I could really put up there are the Chicago Bears. Why? Because of the coaching. They are coaching away from Justin Fields' strength. But, I mean, if you were to put Drew Lock in Denver, I guarantee you they would at least be mid. At least. Because, Drew Lock, he's been in Denver. Granted, some of the wins that he's got haven't been pretty, but hey, winning is winning. You know? Tebow did the same thing.
After
the wins
6
weren't pretty,
games,
but he got it done.
Right. After 6 games, Denver Broncos under Sean Payton are 1-5.
Yep.
Denver Broncos under one of the worst coaching jobs in NFL history, Nathaniel Hackett, is 2-4. There you go.
There you go.
2-4.
I mean, I really couldn't have put it any better myself. Like, Sean Payton really wants to call he really wants to be the pot calling the kettle black. Bro, you've got no room to talk. Nathaniel Hackett was on the other sideline when you faced the Jets, and you still lost to them.
Pathetic.
I mean, oh my God, they have a 21-point win comeback against the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are running Justin Fields into the ground. They are they're on the same level, if not below, the Denver Broncos of wasting talent at the quarterback position.
That's an organization that duped a lot of people, because a lot of Chicago fans, they truly believe that this was a year that the Bears could actually contend, and their season has turned completely upside down.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, it also has to do with the offensive line that they have. Fields is literally being told to stand in the pocket and get fucking sacked versus evading the sack and creating the play. Look at the goddamn Giants.
But my friend, what are the Bears known for? They're known for running quarterbacks into the ground. They're known for ruining the careers of NFL quarterbacks. And it's really a sad reality. It's really sad and unfortunate to see Justin Fields' career take a turn for the worse.
It really is. I mean,
because I feel sorry for him. I feel absolutely sorry for him.
I'm on the same ship you are. I really feel sorry for this guy. I was so hyped for the Justin Fields DJ Moore connection. Granted, it's starting to show, and I'm starting to come to the conclusion that Chase Claypool might have been the problem. Because, I mean, obviously they won 40-20, but at the same time, part of me was like, watching the game against the Redskins, I was thinking there's no way they blow double-digit lead in back-to-back games. Thankfully, they didn't.
And offensive coordinator Luke Getsy cannot scheme whatsoever.
Absolutely.
He cannot scheme whatsoever. You got a quarterback that's out there running for his life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's under so much pressure to try to make something happen and can't make anything happen because he doesn't have protection. Yep. He doesn't have the best offensive line. He doesn't have the greatest playmakers around him.
Yep. I mean, I even saw it on social media, and it really said it best. Joe Burrow, when it comes to the sack situation, is essentially Daniel Jones, but with swag. Because the Bengals have no offensive line whatsoever. And what was it? When 2021, I believe, when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, the Titans sacked Joe Burrow 9 times, and the Titans still lost. How? How, Sway? All right, let's move.
I know, but it's going to be another long, painful year for Bears fans.
I swear to God. But it is that time. Granted, it's Friday night, Thursday, Friday night. Um, there's certain college football games that are going on, but not ones that really stand out. You know what I'm saying? But what's the one thing that being an adult you have to look forward to? Because as a kid, you woke up on Saturday, you look forward to Saturday morning cartoons. Being an adult, you have to look forward to college game day. So we're gonna get into some college football predictions, my friend. So getting things started, we got number 1 Georgia against Vanderbilt. I'm sure it's a one-sided decision, but who do you like in this matchup?
You have to fill me back in. I got cut off.
Oh shit, my bad. Okay.
No, you're good.
All right. So getting things started, we got number 1 Georgia against Vanderbilt. I'm sure it's going to be a one-sided decision, but who do you like in this matchup?
I like Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
I like Georgia. Uh, Georgia's game plan is predicated on defense. We know
Yep.
that. Kirby Smart is a defensive specialist. I
Yep.
think Georgia will take care of business in this game. So I like Georgia.
I
I
like
can't
Georgia
bet.
too. And in the last week or two, I believe they've started to find a mojo
Yeah.
on their offense. And so I mean, it's ironic though, because my first sergeant has told me that he's a Georgia fan and he doesn't even believe that Georgia is going to three-peat. But hey, crazier things have happened and
We'll
when
see. The SEC schools are not doing as well as they have done in the
mm-hmm.
past years or so. It's a lot different.
Hey. The only thing we can say is the transfer portal and Deion Sanders going to Colorado. That's all we can say. Uh, Anyways, next up we got number 2 Michigan versus Indiana.
I got Michigan in that. Michigan has one of the best defenses in the country, if not the best defense in the country. They're a well-disciplined team. Jim
Mm-hmm.
Harbaugh is a great coach. He takes great pride in his job. He's passionate about Michigan football. I think
Yep.
Michigan blows out Indiana. I don't see this being a great contest. I don't think this will be close. Maybe it might be close in the first half, but then Michigan will eventually run away with it. JJ McCarthy has been outstanding this year at the quarterback position. So I got the folks from the big house. Let's go with the Michigan
I
Wolverine.
mean, honestly, you took the words right out of my mouth. I would like for me, I'm expecting Indiana to put up a good fight at least a quarter and a half into this game, but ultimately I really think that um, Michigan is just going to pull away, blow their doors off. There's no surprise. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, if this was now this next game, if it was a night game, it'd be a lot different. But we got number 3 Ohio State versus Purdue.
Oh, Ohio State easily. I like Ohio State. I think uh, you talk about Dave, their head coach, man. He always has these kids ready to go,
Mm-hmm.
uh, game ready. I think Ohio State wins this game. I think Ohio State's tough matchup will be against Penn State. That will be an interesting game. I think that's when their real test will come. But for right now, I think they will take care of business this coming Saturday.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't agree more. Like if it was at Purdue during a night game and they were wearing all black, I probably have Purdue in that game because if you're going up against Purdue or Wake Forest in a night game in their home stadium and they're doing a blackout, both of those teams are winning regardless, no matter what your ranking is. But again, I'm going to have to agree with you, and I'm going to have to go with number 3, Ohio State in this game. So, oh all right. So next up, we got I'm not sure if is Syracuse in the ACC.
Yes, I believe
Okay.
they are. In
So,
football, they are, aren't they? I think.
but yeah. So for this next game, we got Syracuse, who came off. I really thought Syracuse was going to be that team to knock off North Carolina, but that wasn't the case. But Syracuse is going up against oh my god, number 4, Florida State. Who you got?
And I'm gonna have to ride with Florida State. Mike Novell, he's done a great job
Mm-hmm.
coaching that program. I like their quarterback, Jordan Travis. I think he brings the swagger.
Definitely a top 5 Heisman candidate, and there's no doubt about that.
The top 5 Heisman candidate. He's always poised. He looks comfortable in the pocket. He makes the right plays. So I'm going with Florida State in this one. I think Florida State is well conditioned. I think they are the better team, and I think they will take care of business on Saturday.
Yeah, honestly, I want to say Syracuse is that team to upset them, but I'm going to have to ride the same train as you and take Florida State. Ooh, this next game we got, this is a good one. Unranked Arkansas against number 11 Alabama, who have been just they've been a debacle at the quarterback position. They have the talent, but the quarterback isn't there.
Right. They haven't found stability at the quarterback position, which leaves a lot of question marks, right, about the Alabama Crimson Tide. They haven't looked like this dominant powerhouse that we've seen in recent years. They look more exposed. They gotten exposed. They look vulnerable. They look beatable. I don't know. I think Arkansas can pull off the upset here. Nick Saban's team hasn't looked sharp. Nick Saban's team has looked beatable. So, I mean, I think Arkansas can knock them off, and I think Arkansas is going into this game feeling confident about themselves, knowing how up and down Alabama has been. They've been off to a shaky start. Yep. They haven't been able to really settle in. They haven't been able to find that momentum. And when they do have that momentum, it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that staying power that they used to have. And they're not this team that anybody is afraid of anymore. So I'm going to go with, you got to have an upset, and I'm going to go with Arkansas as an upset.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely take Arkansas as an upset. I mean, Alabama, they really haven't been the team that we really thought they would be in the last year or two. But thanks to the transfer portal, everybody's like, oh, we don't have to go to Alabama, like, because there's so many college teams that are coming up, that are on the come up, and like, I mean, Arkansas' schedule what was it, week 2 through like 5 or 6, it's been a suicide mission. But I do like Arkansas in this game. I really think they can pull off an upset. Granted, Tuscaloosa is a very tough place to win. Very tough. But I think Arkansas might do it. I really think they can. All right, who else we got? Wow. Okay. So, we got unranked California against 16 ranked Utah.
Utah lost last week, right?
I believe so.
They lost a close one, right? They lost to UCLA last week, didn't they?
Yeah, let me double. Wow.
Yeah, they
No,
lost.
it wasn't. Oh,
Was
the
it
game
UCLA?
against UCLA was that was a
Yeah,
tough one. But
yeah, tough loss.
it was Oregon State that they lost to, of all teams.
They're looking to get back in the wins column.
Yeah.
I think they have a chance to win this game, get back in the wins column. I don't see them losing a third straight game.
No, I don't see it
I
either.
think they'll respond with a sense of urgency this week, and it's against the Cal Bears, and we all know who's coaching that team, Justin Wilcock, who was an absolute uh, bum at USC when he was the defensive coordinator. And we all know that he's not hasn't done that great of a job as the head coach at Cal, which is surprising to me that he still has a job at Cal. So I'm about to go with Utah in this.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'm gonna have to go with Utah too. This next game is an obvious no-brainer. We got UMass versus number 6 Penn State. We obviously know who's gonna win this fucking game.
We obviously know who's going to win this game. We know Penn State's a very underrated team in college football. We know James Franklin is a very underrated coach in college football. We also know that young stud of theirs at the quarterback position is a very underrated quarterback as well. So I'm taking Penn State in a blowout. I think this is an epic beatdown of epic proportions. I'm going with Penn State all the way.
You already know. Now, granted, the controversy that they have had, what was it, a few years ago, it might have ruined their program, but they have bounced back in the best way possible, winning multiple original 6 bowl games, and they have produced some of the best players, obviously being Saquon Barkley. God damn you, injury bug! And just sorry, that was the Giants fan in me talking. That was Saquon Barkley. When that man is healthy, he is dangerous. And then obviously Micah Parsons. Like, let's be honest. But obviously, number 6 Penn State takes the game against UMass. Now we got a Pac-12 game. Pac-12. We're gonna discuss them later, but for now, we got Washington, who is ranked against obviously Oregon, who has been ranked in the Pac-12. This is oh my god, I'm expecting fireworks for this game.
Oh, this is gonna be a shootout, no doubt about it. Both of these teams are college football's best and second best total offensive attacks.
Yep.
But I think the Ducks present a more credible threat defensively. I think that's where they will win in a close one against Washington. I think their defense will do enough and make enough stops in the end. I think it could come down to the final possession maybe, but I do think Oregon will beat Washington by a touchdown. Now, Washington's going to hang in there because Washington has a Heisman hopeful as well in Michael Penix Jr., who's absolutely fun to watch. I mean, this dude is dynamic. He makes all the right plays. He's a dual threat quarterback. He can hurt you with his arms and feet. He's a special player. But then Oregon, to me, is the more balanced team. At least they are on paper. I think Bo Nix is another Heisman candidate as well. He's been fantastic as Oregon's quarterback. Oregon has playmakers all over the field. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Oregon in this one. I think Oregon is definitely a national title contender from what we've seen so far from them in the Pac-12.
No, I mean, I honestly can agree to that. Oregon, essentially, they've been running the Pac-12. Like, granted, USC, they've been like that underdog team just below, like we've seen a lot of teams in the Pac-12 that have been competing or at least trying to play catch up with Oregon. Honestly, though, I'm gonna have to take Washington in the upset. I really think that they, with the quarterback that they have, I really think that they can get it done. I really do. Ooh, this is gonna be a great SEC matchup. We got, who is it? Number 19 Tennessee versus Texas A&M.
This is a tough game to kind of pin down on paper.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a tough one to predict. It really is. Texas A&M seems to be the more complete team, thanks to its great defensive line, which allows 2.6 yards per carry compared to over 7 years in the air on average. The Vols' strength is the running game. This team runs the ball exceptionally well.
Yeah.
But they can struggle down the stretch against the Aggies front. You got Joe Milton who can air it out. You got the wide receiver in Brew McCoy. But he still out with an injury, or didn't he get hurt?
I believe so. Might have to do some research and get back to you on that.
Yeah, I don't know if he's available for tomorrow's game, but he's one of their top weapons if he is. I don't know. This one's tough for me. I'm gonna give the slight edge to Texas A&M. I guess I'll go with Texas A&M, and I say this because of that defensive front of theirs. I like their defense.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, that's for sure a good pick. Honestly, though, for me, it's hard to see that Texas A&M recovers from the loss, or I should say, shootout loss. Oh my God, that game against Miami was a shootout to witness. But
and yes, Brew, not to interrupt you, Brew McCoy is out. He underwent successful surgery on October 2nd, I believe, after suffering a fracture dislocation of his right ankle. So yeah, he's done.
Okay. Well, hey, prayers and thoughts to a speedy recovery. I'm going to pray to, being the military man that I am, I'm going to pray to St. Michael and wish him a speedy recovery. But at the same time, like, I really don't know how Texas A&M really bounces back against a loss, or again, a shootout loss to Miami. That game was shootout from beginning to end. And honestly, I'm going to have to take 19th ranked Tennessee in this game. So next game up, we got a Big 12. Number 23, Kansas against Oklahoma State Cowboys. I know.
That's another one.
Another
tough one.
For me, it's honestly been a while, or what was it? It was like 2009, 2010.
Well, who do you like in this game?
Again, I think it goes back to like 2009, 2010 that Kansas was actually in the top 25 rankings. Granted, I got so much respect for the Oklahoma State Cowboys, but ultimately I'm going to have to go with Kansas. Like, last year they really proved like, hey, we deserve to be in the top 25 rankings. We're so much more than a basketball school. We can provide football, and thanks to Deion Sanders and the transfer portal, we can do so much more.
I don't know, though. The Jayhawks' rushing attack can overwhelm the Cowboys. They have a pretty good rushing attack. And I think this can be a shootout.
Yeah.
I mean, this can be a high-scoring game. I don't know. I guess I ride with Kansas.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I ride with Kansas in this
All
one.
right. So the next few games, we got Army versus Troy. I gave 4 years of my life to the Navy, so go Troy.
Army versus Troy.
Yeah.
I guess out of respect of the Navy, since you were in the Navy, I'll go with Troy as well.
Hey, my first duty station was San Diego, baby. Oh, did I love it out there.
Camp Pendleton?
No, I was in what was it? 32nd Street.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, San Diego's a military city.
Yes, it is.
And it's very diverse there. It's very diverse. It's a lot of biracial and interracial relationships.
So when I was in Washington, the one port that we pulled into was Coronado.
Okay.
Yeah. And just, oh, God.
San Diego's a beautiful city. It's underrated. It doesn't get the love that it should get because you have LA, you have
exactly. Yep, it's overshadowed by LA.
Right, everyone's always talking about LA, but when you go to San Diego, you be like, "Wow, this is a city I can actually live in." It's so beautiful. The water is beautiful.
Honestly, thanks to so many what was it? So many food shows that I've watched on like the Cooking Network, the Food Network, Travel Channel, like Man versus Food, Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives. I know exactly what I needed to do and where I needed to go in San Diego just to enjoy the food. And man, they know how to do food.
They know how to do food, and it's a retirement city. A lot of people are not from San Diego. They moved to San Diego. They moved from places like LA, Orange County, the Inland Empire, and they moved to places like San Diego. So a lot of people are not born in San Diego. There's a lot of people that's born there, of course, obviously. But what I'm saying, you find a lot of people that migrated from other cities and other parts of Southern California.
I mean, honestly, one of my favorite places that I went to, it was a place called Lucha Libre. And it's a lucha wrestling themed restaurant. And it was on Man vs. Food, and the host went there. He got a surf and turf Cali burrito. Oh my!
Ooh, that sounds good. You're making me hungry. That sounds good.
When you get the chance, check out Lucha Libre in San Diego. You will not be disappointed. Surf and turf Cali burrito, and another food item that I got. It was a Tijuana dog. It's a bit. Oh my God, I never get tired of explaining this. It's a bacon wrapped hot dog with sauteed onions and peppers, and it comes with mustard, mayonnaise, ketchup. Oh, I will take that 8-hour drive just to go back there.
Where I live, it's only about 2 hours for us where I live.
Oh my God! All right. All right, let's get back into some college football predictions. All right, so we got an SEC matchup. Granted, both these teams ain't ranked, but we got the University of Florida, who, granted, hasn't done anything since their 2008 national championship, against South Carolina.
I like the Gamecocks. Give me the Gamecocks.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Granted, they aren't off to the start that I thought they would be because they really caught fire in the second half of the season.
Right. No, they don't. They haven't gotten off to the start that most of us anticipated. No, not at all.
Right. All right. So we got another. There's so many more games, but
Notre Dame and USC is another one.
Let me tell you, So there's another game coming up. We got unranked Iowa versus unranked Wisconsin.
I think Iowa, because they have one of the top defenses in the country as well. I mean, they got blown out with arguably the top defense in the country too. But I don't think that's going to happen against who's their opponent?
Wisconsin.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen against Wisconsin. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
that's a call too.
I mean, this year and last year, Wisconsin faced Washington State in their hometown, and both times they lost.
Yeah.
Of all teams, Washington State, like a team that the Pac-12 is getting away from, and they don't even want you.
Right.
I'm honestly gonna have to go with Iowa in this matchup.
Yeah, I like Iowa too. I really like Iowa because of their defense.
Damn. So probably since Lamar Jackson, I really can't think of the last time that Louisville was ranked. We got 14 ranked Louisville taking on Pittsburgh.
Louisville taking on Pittsburgh. You know, I don't really know too much about Louisville. I don't really know too much about Pittsburgh either. But if I had to pick one, it'll probably be Pittsburgh.
Okay. Yeah.
Because Louisville really hasn't been a standout football team since the Bobby Pertino days. Pertino.
Oh, yeah. That's true. I mean, the last time they were relevant, they had Lamar Jackson under center.
Yeah. So it's been quite some time.
Yeah, and I mean, Pittsburgh, they are a physical college football team.
Oh, yeah, they're very physical. They're
the college football team version of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah,
they are gonna make it physical and make it work. God damn you, Aaron Donald.
It must be a Steel City thing or something. I don't know. It must be
I could honestly see that. Honestly, it looks like maybe this might be a good matchup, but hang on, let me scroll down real quick. We got 19th ranked Washington State against Arizona. Arizona is 3-3.
Washington State against Arizona.
I know. The only thing Arizona is good at is basketball.
Yeah. Give me Washington State. I like Cameron Ward.
Yeah, no, I'll agree to that. Give me Washington State any day of the week.
Yep. Give me the Cougars.
Yep. Oh my God. Brian Kelly, you are not built for the SEC, my guy. You are not built for this conference. I don't know how the hell LSU is ranked number 22. Well, we got unranked Auburn, who came off a tough loss. Very, very tough loss. They put up a fight against number 1 Georgia. But we got unranked Auburn against 22nd ranked LSU.
You know, everyone is trashing LSU's passing defense, and I get it. It's all warranted, right? They deserve to be bashed for how they have played, but I think the passing defense should gain the upper hand against an Auburn aerial attack that is just not there right now. So I'm going to have to go with LSU, even though LSU is not as advertised. LSU is not looking like this SEC powerhouse. I'm going to have to ride with LSU. I know Auburn plays tough at the line defensively and can get turnovers. That's one thing they do really well, force turnovers. But I think Jaden Daniels will have more opportunities to put points on the board this time. So I'm going to go with LSU.
No, that's definitely a good pick. But, I mean, like I said, I don't think Brian Kelly is really built for the SEC. I mean, let's be honest. This is the power conference of college football.
No, I agree with
LSU,
you.
so much history.
Mhm.
Like I give them all the credit in the absolute world.
Yep.
But I mean, honestly, I'm gonna go. Jesus, let's try using words. I'm gonna have to go with. I'm gonna have to go with Auburn in this matchup.
Yeah, Brian Kelly is not built. He's built for Notre Dame or a Cincinnati.
Yeah. All right. All right. This team has been on quite the win streak. We got unranked Wyoming against Air Force. I mean, it's pretty one-sided in my opinion. I liked Wyoming because, oh my God, who did they beat last week? Hang on, let me check.
Josh
They
Allen
beat.
school.
They beat some Fresno State. That's it. Fresno State was ranked 24th going into their game against Wyoming. Fresno State lost. Honestly, I'm going to have to go with Wyoming in this matchup because, honestly, they haven't been relevant since Josh Allen played for them.
Yeah. Wyoming, like you said, defeated Fresno State. I don't know. I think the Falcons figured to test that Wyoming run defense.
Okay.
Air Force runs the ball 60.8 times per game. That's the most in the nation. And it leads college football in rushing yards per game. So the Falcons will run the ball. They will pound the rock, I think.
I
And
mean, that's all that Air Force knows how to do.
yeah. So I mean, the Falcons they have 4 ball carriers who have registered over 250 yards on the ground. I think Wyoming's defense is going to have a tough day stopping that run game. I think I don't know. I said Wyoming at first. I was gonna agree with you, but I don't know. I guess I'll go the opposite here. I guess I'll take the Air Force.
Okay. Yeah, no, some of these games that are again or some of the games that are between unranked opponents that it's more so it really catches my eye and it's like, okay, yeah, this could be an interesting game. No lie. Like Florida versus South Carolina, for example. But I know you in the California area. This next game, I know you're going to be excited about. We got number 10 USC taking on number 21 Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Yeah, this could be a game that USC can actually lose. I hope that's not true. I hope USC wins this game, but Notre Dame can put up a lot of points as well. Notre Dame can score. They can get in the end zone, and they can find the end zone against this USC's defense that has not been great this season. Last season, USC's defense forced a lot of takeaways. This season, they're not really forcing a lot of takeaways. They're not getting off the field because they're not able to get the critical stops on third down. And the defense, Alex Grinch defense, has just looked out of place. Like they have not made big plays. His job has been called into question. People have called for Alex Grinch's job, and that's the only weakness that the Trojans really have is their defense. They can outscore you by putting up points because they have Caleb Williams, arguably the best quarterback in college football, and they have that exciting, electrifying offense. But what good does that serve you if your defense can't make critical stops? So, I mean, Notre Dame can win this, and I think their secondary will challenge USC's receivers for 4 full quarters. This is going to be some game. I wouldn't be surprised if Notre Dame pulls off the upset.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I mean, this is a battle for what is it? The battle of the Shillelagh or whatever when it comes to USC and Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame, they have been such a different team ever since Sam Hartman has come under center and oh my God, who's their head coach right now? Like, whoever their head coach is, like Notre Dame has just been a different team under these two guys, and just oh my God, who did they lose to? Let's see here. Let's go back up. Yeah. Oh my God, how the hell they lost to Louisville is honestly beyond me. Like, that should have been an easy win for them, but like you said, it wouldn't surprise me if Notre Dame gets the upset over USC, because the only thing that USC really has going for them is Heisman favorite Caleb Williams.
Yep.
So
And that high powered offense of theirs, because Lincoln Riley only coaches on one side of the ball. He doesn't coach on both sides of the ball.
Yep. So I think it's safe to say that we both take Notre Dame in this game. Now, this game is...
And I'm a USC fan.
Yeah. Now, this next game is actually quite interesting. I'm really surprised that... I'm not sure if he still is in the conversation, but the fact that Drake May has led North Carolina inside the top 15, and on top of that, the fact that North Carolina's defense has actually allowed the opposing team to score some points. Like, they nearly lost to Appalachian State, for crying out loud. But this game, honestly, I really think this is the game that North Carolina loses, because granted, Miami, number 25 Miami played them. Oh my God, did they played themselves?
That loss, they did play themselves. That loss last week was deflating. So
it really was, and
I don't know if Miami can recover from that. I don't know.
I'm really glad to see that Mario Cristobal really stepped up to the plate. He's like, hey, I accept this loss. It's on me. We should have taken a knee. We should have done this. But at the same time, it's like, dude, you did what you did. But honestly, I really feel like number 25 Miami hands number 12 North Carolina their first loss of the season.
I'm going to respectfully disagree. I think with Drake May at home and improved ground game and a better overall defense that ranks 30th in scoring is enough for Carolina to win this game. I think they pull it out against Miami. Last week's loss was deflating. That blunder took a lot out of that team. And I just don't think Miami, even though they are a fairly efficient football team, I just don't think they will beat a very good North Carolina team that a lot of people have overlooked in the ACC.
No, I respect that. I just honestly, some of the opponents that North Carolina has really had, I'm really surprised that North Carolina's defense has really allowed to put points on them.
Yep.
I mean, like I said, like the fact that they were so close to losing to Appalachian State really says a lot. And I think going into this season, Drake May was really up there with the Heisman favorites.
Yeah, he was. He was up there with the Heisman favorites. He's a good quarterback.
He really is. He's proving it too. But
and he's had some stellar performances.
For sure. And honestly, I think this game is really going to be one to watch. So next up, we got, oh my God, I don't know how the hell Missouri pulled it off against Kansas State, but somehow they did. So we got unranked Kansas State against number 24 ranked Kentucky after suffering, I think it was an embarrassing loss. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's embarrassing. Yep. So we got unranked Missouri against number 24 Kentucky.
You know what? Give me Brady Cook and the Tigers over Kentucky.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yep. They're going to get
Yeah.
the bounce back win this week after a heartbreaking home loss
Mm,
to LSU. I think Missouri will
yeah.
bounce back.
Mm,
Missouri has arguably the best receiver in the nation, not named Marvin Harrison
mm,
Jr. and
yeah.
uh,
I'll
uh,
agree to that.
in Luther Burden. So there you go. I think this is going to be one of
Yeah.
those games where Missouri plays well and they show
Yeah.
up.
I completely agree. I really think that Missouri bounces back from the loss that they had against LSU. Man, it might have been a shoot. Yep, that game was an absolute shootout
Yep.
between them and LSU. Oh my god! So I'm liking Missouri in this game. So next up, we got 18th ranked UCLA against 15th ranked Oregon State.
UCLA, Oregon State. UCLA's defense is as advertised,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you look at the front seven, uh, and ranks first in college football by allowing just 3.7 yards per play total to opponents. Um, you saw they grounded Washington State, superb air game, and should gain the upper hand against the Beavers quarterback, DJ uh Ogles I always pronounce his name wrong. That's the dude that
Uh, DJ Ukulele.
ukulele.
That's the best that I can give you.
That's the dude that came from Clemson. Uh,
Yes.
and like he was at Clemson, it didn't work out. And now
Oh,
with the Beavers, he's been inconsistent. So I'm gonna go with UCLA here.
yeah. Honestly, I think that it was up until the head honchos of the college football committee were like, yeah, we're no longer gonna continue the Pac-12. That teams like Washington State, Oregon State, the real below teams, they really started to show out.
Yep.
And I want to say Oregon State, but I'm gonna definitely have to agree with you. I really don't like when he was with Clemson. I really didn't expect DJ Ukulele to deliver another championship for Clemson anytime soon. So honestly, I'm gonna definitely have to go with UCLA in this game.
Good
Uh,
choice.
yeah, I mean honestly, I'm still blown away that much like Kentucky, this school is still in the rankings. We got NC State versus 17th ranked Duke. And they are known to be a basketball school.
Yeah, Duke has been a good football team this year.
Yeah,
The Cameron Crazies, they usually hibernate this time of year, but
that
I
they
guess they,
do.
I guess they could come out and root for their football team because their football team has played really well.
Yeah,
Give me Duke to win this game.
give me Duke as well. So to close it out, we got they've been on college football's radar, but they really don't get the respect that they deserve. We got unranked Boise State against Hawaii.
Oh, give me Boise State.
Yep, absolutely. Again, they don't get the respect that they deserve.
Is it because they have a blue home field, blue
No,
turf?
I think it's just more so that they're not in like the Big Ten, the SEC, the
Uh,
ACC, or anything like that. They're
right.
in the Mountain
But
West.
let me tell you, that blue turf, it kind of messes with you psychologically.
Hey, I've seen the blue turf. It's just as good in person as it is on television. It oh, it's mwah, chef's kiss. All right, so we're gonna go from college football to the NFL. It's no surprise that the Kansas City Chiefs won last night. No surprise at all. Probably has to do with Taylor Swift being in attendance, but that's neither here nor there.
I'm so over Taylor Swift and the NFL coverage of Taylor Swift.
I mean, hey, like you said in the beginning of this show, when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, it makes for good conversation. And I mean, ever since she came into attendance, the Chiefs have balled out.
They have gotten better, even
That
though
they have.
even though they still, to me, play down to their competition.
Yeah. We got some NFL predictions we got to make. So step aside, London. You might have witnessed a good game between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Buffalo Bills, but like Baltimore versus Tennessee is going to put on a show that Tottenham fans have never seen before. Who you got versus Baltimore versus Tennessee?
Baltimore is going to have to clean up their mistakes that they made last weekend. Wide receivers dropped too many balls. There was drop.
They couldn't catch COVID last week.
There was a lot of mishaps in that game.
Yes.
You know, and Lamar Jackson, I thought ball placement was good. I thought his accuracy was there. He made some good throws, but his receivers let him down because they continuously drop passes. And then, you know, Justice Hill had the costly fumble in the game. So if Baltimore cleans things up this week, which I think they will, they'll get the win and should get the win against the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, honestly, it really wouldn't surprise me either because, like, the only thing that Tennessee really has going for them are DeAndre Hopkins and Derrick Henry, and defenses are really starting to figure out how to stop Derrick Henry. So the wide receivers for the Ravens really got to step up this game and not drop anything. So I'm like you, I'm gonna take the Ravens in this matchup.
That was a weird game. That was a weird game and a weird loss for Baltimore.
Tell me about it. So next game, we got the Washington Redskins against the Atlanta Falcons. And yes, I still call them the Redskins because fuck you, Dan Snyder. Hey, you talk to any Washington fan, 85 to 90% of them will still call them the Redskins.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think in this game, I think the Atlanta Falcons are looking to win this game. Of course, obviously, is that what you play the game for, to win? I like what I saw from Desmond Ritter last week. I felt like he had the best game of his career. You know, he looked really, really good out there as well. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with the Falcons here. I know, you know, there's still a lot of work to be done. And I know Ritter has been inconsistent prior to week 5, but he looked better last week. And I don't know. To me, their coach Juan Rivera of the Washington Commanders, he looks burnt out.
He really does. And I mean, even Eric Bieniemy is actually making Sam Howell look like Patrick Mahomes somehow.
Right. So, I mean, it's looked good, but I like Ritter's how he has responded to the adversity with his best game ever, carving up the Texans and overcoming the series of horrid mistakes by the rest of the offense. You know, I think this week the Falcons will get it done. I think they will ride on Ritter's confidence. I think he'll be more aggressive with the ball, and he's shown that he has pretty good accuracy and zip on the intermediate throws. So I'm gonna ride with the Falcons.
Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna have to ride with the Falcons too. I mean, in the last few games, Bijan Robinson has really proved,
Oh yeah,
like,
he
yeah,
has.
he's
Yes,
really proved, like, oh, you're gonna take me this high in the draft?
right.
Bet.
Yeah,
Watch
yeah.
this.
And to me, he was the most. You could make the argument that he was the most athletic in last
Mm,
year's draft.
I'll agree to that. I'll agree to that. Yeah, like honestly, even when the Falcons selected him, it's like, damn, that's pretty high for a running back. But ever since the season began,
Yep.
man, he's been on that I'm gonna show you what's up tour.
Right. Right.
Oh man. So I really think that this game really could determine Kirk Cousins' future in Minnesota. So we got the Vikings versus the Chicago Bears.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Two teams with a lot of question marks.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Like I really think this is the game that determines Kirk Cousins' future with Minnesota. But I mean, just ever since the Bears let Chase Claypool go and they got that win over Washington, I'm really liking Chicago in this game.
Yeah. Um. mm, the Vikings are now past the 5-week benchmark in this season.
Yeah.
Uh, and they have dropped 4 contests by 1 score margin, so they have lost in really, really close games.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they have
And don't
lost.
forget, Justin Jefferson is on the IL.
Right, right. That's true. And they have lost close games without having played a divisional opponent yet.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, I don't know. Minnesota to me is um, you know, not in trouble because they're in a weak division.
Mm,
You
that's
know,
true.
they're one and
Detroit is running that division somehow.
Detroit's running that division, and everyone else is like just hot trash or garbage or
Mm-hmm.
not even
Yeah.
that great of a football team, really, like the Bears.
Yep.
Um, I'm gonna ride with you here. I'm gonna go with you here. I'm gonna say the 1-4 Bears. Uh, they're hoping to continue its momentum after finally snapping their longest losing streak. I mean, it's almost been a full calendar year since they
Yep.
won a game. So I mean, sometimes when you finally win a game, you can build on that, and that can lead to good things. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna stay with the Bears. I'm going to go with the Bears to win this game, especially with the Minnesota Vikings being minus or without Justin Jefferson, who injured his hamstring,
Mm.
during the fourth quarter of a 27-20 loss to the Chiefs last week. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. Get well.
I'm going to go with the Bears.
Yep. Absolutely. Get well, Jay Jetta. So next game up, we got, oh my God, this ever since Russell Wilson has departed, this team, the Seahawks, continue to be a surprising team. But I really think it has to do with Pete Carroll being their head coach. But we got Seattle versus Cincinnati. And honestly, I really think that Cincinnati's days are numbered with if they do decide to start Joe Burrow as their quarterback. Cincinnati's days are numbered. Like they really should consider sitting Joe Burrow if they want to be a contending team next year. Like, yes, he had a non-contact calf injury, but it's really been showing in the games that the Bengals have been playing this year. So honestly, I'm gonna have to go with Seattle in this matchup.
I felt Joe Burrow looked good last week. He had a great bounce back performance. To me, it looked like he redeemed himself in that game, and it looked like
Yeah,
you
but
know
it was against the Cardinals, though.
I know, but he showed a sign of
Mm,
good health to me. I
okay.
think the healthiest he has looked in to start this season. and I like what I saw from him. I mean, I know it's a small sample size, but he was hitting his intended targets.
Mm.
Uh, he was moving his
Even
team.
Jamar Chase had himself a day.
Right. Jamar Chase had himself a day, and I thought, considering what he's been through, I thought he was moving very well out of the pocket. I thought he was, uh, making the plays. You saw his accuracy, you saw his poise, you saw his athleticism. I think this is the week, and the Seahawks haven't been like they were last year.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they haven't been the team that we saw last year. So I'm going to give the Bengals. I think the Bengals have found winning ways again, and I think the
Okay.
Bengals will be just fine.
Okay. Now, honestly, these next two games, it really does, in my opinion, it really doesn't require much thought. We got San Francisco against Cleveland, and Miami versus Carolina. Honestly, it really wouldn't surprise me coming off the decimation game that the Niners had against Dallas, that if they decimated freaking Cleveland in the same exact way. Now, what was it? 2 weeks ago, we saw Miami drop 70 on fucking Denver. Carolina, they've been an interesting story. Granted, they still yet to win a game, but they're fighters. They are definitely fighters, in my opinion. But because Tua has been staying healthy since the season began and his head hasn't been bouncing off the ground like a goddamn basketball, give me Miami in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm with you there too. I like Miami in this matchup, and you're right. Carolina is a team that fights to the very end. They have been in some close, tight games. They haven't been able to win a lot of games, but a lot of games have been winnable games,
Mm-hmm.
which they just couldn't get it done. Now, the Dolphins, to me, are a team that's just lightning quick. They're very athletic. They have a lot of speed. They like to beat
Yes.
you with their speed. And then you got a guy by the name of Tyreek Hill, who is clearly the fastest man in the NFL right now. I don't think anybody can deny that. I think he is unguardable. I think he is someone that you cannot cover. Either way, he's going to blow past you, and he's going to make plays with his incredible feet and his gifted hands. I like the Dolphins to win this game. I'm riding with the Dolphins. You saw Carolina stumble early, and they couldn't recover on the road last week in Denver. I like the Dolphins in this game. I think the Dolphins are the more complete team. Is there anyone capable of stopping Tua? The Dolphins, they clearly manhandled the Giants in their last game, outgaining them 524 to 268. You saw Miami's rookie running back, Devon Achney, however you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
I'm horrible with names. He pounded New York for 151 yards on 11 carries, and backfield mate Raheem Mostert added 65 yards on 10 carries. Tua was efficient as well. So, yeah, give me the Dolphins in this game.
I mean, honestly, one race I would love to see would be Tyreek Hill against Chris CK to Chris Johnson. The fastest running back against the fastest wide receiver in the NFL. That would be one to watch. So moving on to the next game, Jacksonville is coming off a 2-week trip in London, and they welcome the Indianapolis Colts to Jacksonville. The Colts have been surprising this year.
Yes.
Even without Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, they find ways to win. To win. Zach Moss is the third leading rushing running back in the NFL. He's
Unbelievable.
he's been phenomenal. Yes, this Colts team has been a pleasant surprise, and we talked so bad about this team in the offseason. We talked about
because of Jonathan Taylor.
How awful they were. Yeah, that
Yes.
pass. You had that saga going on. Jonathan Taylor, they didn't get a deal done for him during the preseason or during the offseason. That was an ugly story that was dominating headlines. But they finally got a deal done for him. They're going to ramp up his workload, so I expect him to get more touches this week. I think he would be. More productive now that he's back and healthy. And remember, you go back to 2021, man, he was the best running back in the NFL.
Absolutely.
And I think the reason this deal got done, and I don't know if you saw my video, but this deal got done to protect the quarterback. This deal got done to protect Anthony Richardson because we all know his style of play can lead to injury. He tries to do too much, and
he's trying to duplicate Cam Newton's style of play.
Style of play, yes, and this will now allow him to take a step back.
Yep.
With Jonathan Taylor in the backfield.
Absolutely.
So give me the Colts. Give me the Colts. I'm going with the Colts.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Give me the Colts any day of the week. I mean, even like the Jaguars had 2 weeks in London. They're coming back, but at the same time, these guys are going to be fucking jet lagged to the goddamn brim because they had to deal with an overseas timeline and face 2 teams in London. So give me the Colts any day of the week. Oh man, we got a matchup of 2 South teams. The New Orleans Saints, who have been really surprising in the NFC South, and the team of all teams who, let's be honest, let's agree, they won the draft this year. The Houston Texans in the AFC South. And the fact that they have as many wins that they have this year, man, this is a tough game to call of who's going to win.
Well, does anyone want to talk about how phenomenal CJ Stroud has been? I mean, he's been putting up historic numbers.
Could you imagine if he was on Carolina?
I mean, this dude is unruffled.
Oh, I think the craziest part is who is it? Nico Collins?
Yeah.
He went to Michigan. CJ Stroud went to Ohio State. They're rival schools, and they're arguably the best connection in the league right now.
Yep, and CJ Stroud, he looks comfortable in the pocket.
He does.
Nothing seems to rattle him.
No,
he goes out there, he makes plays. He's shown that he can be a team leader, that he can be a leader of man.
Yeah.
I think, he's been thriving since he has, made the transition to the NFL. It's been a smooth transition for him. But Absolutely. That's what amazes me with him is just not only how historically good he is, but how he has commanded the offense. And he continues to get better each week. I don't know. I mean, I like the Saints, though, because of their defense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
not to mention, they actually added another quarterback, being Derek Carr, who essentially got ran out of Las Vegas because he got benched.
That's a tenacious defense. So I'm going to have to ride with the Saints and Derek Carr. And Derek Carr is playing with a vengeance. He still feels that he has something to prove, particularly after the Raiders did him dirty, if you want to say they did him dirty. So he feels like he has a lot to prove, and he can do that with the Saints. And I think that's what we've been seeing with how he has taken leadership of that offense in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Give me the Saints.
Honestly, I would agree with you, but I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree. Like the way that CJ Stroud just has transitioned from Ohio State to the NFL, and of all teams, the Texans. Like I really thought that the Carolina Panthers and the Texans were going to be essentially battling it out for a top 5 pick in this year's NFL draft for arguably Marvin Harrison Jr. But to see what CJ Stroud has been doing and hooking up with Nico Collins just really says a lot. And the fact that they dropped 30 on the Pittsburgh Steelers defense of all teams, played by TJ Watt. Dude is a monster. Honestly, I'm gonna have to go with the Houston Texans in this matchup. I really did not expect this kind of like season for Houston. This it's just unbelievable for them. All right, but moving on though. This is going to be an interesting one. We got arguably the best defensive genius being Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, who they got outscored 72-3 their last 2 games. And I think the one thing that makes me laugh the hardest is Patriot fans calling in to the New England sports show, and they're just like, oh, Bill Belichick isn't what he is since Tom Brady left, which is true. It's true. And they don't believe in Mac Jones, but at the same time, it's like, yo, this is the same head coach that took the New England Patriots with a bunch of no-name receivers to 9 Super Bowls and won 6 of them. So calm the fuck down, chill the fuck out, sit in your goddamn seat. It's time for some other teams to fucking win. Unfortunately, it's not that time for the Raiders. So I got New England in this matchup against Las Vegas.
You know what? After the way New England got, manhandled last week, I mean that they got demolished.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately,
by
they did.
I don't think they would lose this week against the Raiders, and the Raiders are the worst team. But Mac Jones isn't the answer either.
No, absolutely not.
Mac Jones is not the GOAT. He is not the next Tom Brady.
Nope, absolutely. Completely agree.
I feel like Bill Belichick needs a more successful quarterback if he's going to make this work, because it seems to me his era is coming to an end.
Yeah, no, completely agree. And the fact that he had Joe Judge and Matt Patricia like going back and forth as the offensive coordinator, that really ruined Mac Jones as a quarterback.
Yes, I agree 100%. And to me, Mac Jones has the weakest throwing arm too.
Well, that really doesn't surprise me because Alabama really isn't known for producing quarterbacks.
Right.
The offensive weapons that they have, that's what they're known for.
And defensive players as well.
Yes. So I think it's safe to say we go with the New England Patriots in this matchup. So next matchup, we got, oh my God, this team, they were expected to tank for Caleb Williams, being the Arizona Cardinals. And they're heading to LA to take on the Rams with rookie sensation Pua Nakua. It means no worries, baby.
I love it.
Shout out to the football commentators for coming up with that. That is just brilliance at its best. But we got the Arizona Cardinals taking on the LA Rams. Who you like in this matchup?
You know what? I like the Rams to get the win. After the tough loss to the Eagles, I think the Rams will get the win. Cooper Kupp is back and healthy. Cooper Kupp had a sensational debut. We got a glimpse of that dynamic duel of Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua, and I think both of these receivers will go off. We already know that they can coexist, that they can, work together out there. I think Matthew Stafford, being as tough as nails as he is, I think he will make plays. I think even if he's not feeling 100%, because we really don't know, I think he will still give it his all as he usually does and leave it all out on the field. So I like the Rams in this game. I know the Cardinals have played pretty well, and their record is not what it indicates, because they have been in some close games, and Joshua Dobbs has been doing his thing as well. And this is a team that fights as well. They don't, give up. They keep games close. But I think it's going to be a close battle, but I do think the Rams will win.
Yeah, honestly, I was really leaning towards
And another thing, the Rams got dogs on defense. We just don't know a lot of their names.
Very true. Yeah, no, like I said, I was really leaning towards the Arizona Cardinals just because they are fighters. Much like the Houston Texans, I'm really surprised that they have the amount of wins that they have, and the fact that Joshua Dobbs has been that leader. Like he actually wants to play football and not be on the sideline playing Call of Duty. Looking your way, Kyler.
Yep.
But I mean, honestly, like with Cooper Kupp coming back and the Rams having the rookie sensation, Pua Nakua, and Matthew Stafford being the dog that he is, and Tutu Atwell.
Tutu Atwell, he's nice.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm really gonna have to go with the Rams in this one. Like it'll be an interesting matchup to watch.
There's a possum like right behind me in the bushes back there.
No way.
Yeah, we have possums out here. We have possums. We have raccoons. We have coyotes.
No way.
Yeah, we have coyotes too. But I rarely see coyotes though. But we have them.
I'm not surprised. I've lived in Illinois for the last 15 years.
Yep.
We had a running trail in my backyard, and there were just a bunch of coyotes. When the moon came out, and we had this cat who, no shit, looked like Puss in Boots. And oh my God, he was so agile from when we adopted him until he was unfortunately put down. But every time I heard coyotes in the running trail and he was outside, I'm like, well, that's it. I guess the coyotes got him.
Yep.
I worked at FedEx for a few years. I come down at like 3:30 in the morning. There he is on the patio. I don't know how the hell he did it to this day.
Yep. Crazy. I know. It's a wilderness back here in my backyard.
Oh, yeah, I believe it. All right. So this next one could be very one-sided. It's Philadelphia against the Jets. I don't see anyone stopping Philadelphia anytime soon. They got the brotherly shove.
Yeah, that's all Eagles right there. And Jalen Carter has come on really nicely for the Eagles. You go and get someone from Georgia. And
hey, as long as Alabama and Georgia are producing weapons, the Eagles are going to be fine.
And I feel like the Eagles are improving each game because now, you see that Jalen Hurts is starting to get on the same page with Brian Johnson, their new offensive coordinator. They're starting to find a groove. And it usually takes several weeks for a team to find their groove, to kind of get acclimated, to kind of get on the same page. Because look, you lost both of your coordinators who both took coaching jobs in the NFL. So, I mean, it's hard to replace those two guys. And now you have to learn a new playbook, a new system under two coordinators. So, the Eagles are doing fine. They haven't lost a game, so they're
No.
doing fine. I think everyone was concerned with how close the games were early on and how they looked in the games, even though they were able to come away with the win, they were able to snag the win. But people were more concerned about their play on the field. And gradually over time, they have gotten better on the field. And then you got playmakers on the field. You got A.J. Brown doing his thing. And then you got Devontae Smith, who has great body control and who's one of the top wide receivers in the NFL, always making incredible plays, sensational grabs. So the Eagles are fine, and I think the Eagles blow this one out.
No, I completely agree. I mean, what was it? It was like late 2020 season that we saw the debut of Jalen Hurts. Granted, the rest of the time that he was playing in 2020, it wasn't exactly there, but you knew there was potential. But as soon as the Eagles brought in the head coach, the coordinators, and the players that was needed to put around, essentially the Eagles built from the inside out. They built the offensive line, they built the defensive line, and then from there they just spread out. And man, oh man, are the results showing. They are 5-0. They are arguably one of the best teams in the NFC right now. Granted, the San Francisco 49ers, like those two teams, you got an argument. There is no question about that. Like I mean, as far as choosing the best team in the NFC between the Eagles and the Niners, it's really hard to choose. But in this game, because the Eagles have done such a great job with building from the inside out, I'm a Giants fan, but man, I gotta appreciate what the Eagles have been doing the last 3 years, and the results have shown. Oh man. So this next matchup is going to be a good one. Detroit, the surprising team in the NFC. I don't know how, but I guess it's because Dan Campbell looks like the sole person that is keeping Bang Energy in business and keeping them like in the black, like keep giving them profit because man, oh man, that man's personality is just on another level. The Detroit Lions are headed to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. And honestly, I'm gonna have to go with the Lions in this matchup.
Yeah, I like the Lions. You know what? I like Dan Campbell's style of coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I think those players have brought into his style of coaching. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown will be back this week.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he will be. The Lions have a much improved Jared Goff at quarterback. You've seen an incredible turnaround from him. Since he's arrived in Detroit.
Yeah.
Offense is pretty good. They revamped the defense. The defense has gotten better in so many areas.
Especially drafting Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah. And Baker Mayfield has been a surprise this year though, too.
I'm surprised. Yeah.
Bucks, but I'm gonna ride with the Detroit Lions as well.
Yeah. So for Sunday night, I know the Giants play in New Jersey, but the two words before the Giants are New York. And if we're going to go off of some stupid logic, the Cowboys might as well be called the Arlington Cowboys because they damn sure don't play in Dallas. Anyways, we got the New York Giants going into Buffalo to take on the Bills for Sunday night. I'm not trying to keep it biased, but I really like the Bills in this matchup.
I like the team from Western New York as well.
Yeah.
I like the
Like I
team from Western New York, even though it's hard to figure them out this season.
mm-hmm.
They've been kind of up and down like a yo-yo too.
Yeah,
Uh,
no,
but
absolutely. I
yeah,
mean, it goes back to the first topic that was getting talked about. I mean, so many sports select personnel were saying, oh, Josh Allen wasn't what we thought he was because he threw or he had 4 turnovers against the Jets, even when Rodgers went down and the Bills should have won that game. And now they're competing with the Dolphins for first place in the AFC East, which isn't too surprising. So, yeah, it's safe to say we're going to go with Buffalo in this matchup. So, Monday night, we got to close it out, we got Dallas versus the San Diego Chargers on Monday Night Football. Now, assuming Brandon Staley actually gets out of his own fucking way for once, I'm surprised that man still has a head coaching job. Again, assuming Brandon Staley actually gets out of his own way, I like the Chargers, but
he won't get out of his own way though.
exactly. So, unfortunately, give me the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys are not going to go down in consecutive weeks. They're going to bounce back against this Chargers team. Their defense is going to, look elite once again. I got the
Yep.
Dallas Cowboys.
No,
As long as
absolutely.
Dak Prescott doesn't turn over the ball, they should be fine.
Facts. Straight facts. Oh, all right. Well, that about wraps everything up here on No Mercy Sports. I want to thank you again, Sports Judge, for coming on here and just giving your opinion on the topics that were discussed. Oh, God. But I mean, just it's going to be really hard to watch the Monday Night Football game between the Cowboys and the Chargers, but we shall see what happens. Again, I'm your host, No Mercy Sports. It is hoodie weather. I don't know what the temperature is in California, but I'm sure it's that kind of weather. So be sure to head over to Reaper Apparel and type in code No Mercy Sports 10 for 10% off of your purchase when you head over there. I'm No Mercy Sports. This is the Sports Judge. Peace out.